Live. This has been an interesting day as well because we get set up to do our podcast and we're in the middle of apparently a windstorm and wildfire. Looks like the end of the world going on with this weird red hue everywhere, and something took out the power lines outside of the studio, and so we got generators and cords and stuff going on, but we made it happen.
Yep.
We're a little late. Apologize for everyone watching live, but we made it happen. I'm here with Danny Brocker. How's it going?
Pretty good.
We've talked once. You were on the phone.
Yeah.
Well, the one time you talked on the podcast, but we got you in studio.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun.
This should be better.
Yeah, this will be good. First, I got to give a few shout outs to get this show rolling. Some people helping us just keep Moto Monday even alive, man. I got to first shout out Bobby P Media. We are literally running on generators right now, as there is a bunch of guys in safety outfits all around the studio trying to fix the power lines. So big shout out to the entire Bobby P Media crew. Thank you guys. And yeah, I'm gonna have to whip out my phone to make sure I get all of my info correct here. But show's also brought to you by RDW Rooney Dirt Works. Anyone in like the Clark County area, maybe you need a track built, maybe you got some property, brush cleared, motocross dude, help support the show. So if you want to check them out, RDW 360-999-0807. Is it weird that I always feel weird giving out phone numbers? Is it just a 2020 thing? Because I always feel like everyone drops their website and no one gives the phone numbers anymore.
Yeah,
Do people call?
Yeah, people call me, that's for sure.
And then I think back as like, no,
Facebook
the whole
message.
check out the website thing is still pretty new. I don't know, maybe I've been hanging around millennials, but if you guys need any work done, RDW, Rooney Dirt Works, 360-999-0807, and also Crow Moon Coffee, guys, another local shop. They're over in Woodland, Washington. Check them out. They're literally just like right off the freeway. You guys go social media, look up Crow Moon Coffee, helping us out with some cups here. Thank you guys, and thank you for watching the show. So, where to even start with this whole thing? Actually, easy start. Top Gun. You're literally on your way home from Top Gun, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're at Washougal for the Top Gun. I don't know how many they've had, but I've gone the last 8 years or so, and it's always a good time. You know, the track was epic. I mean, it was good all weekend, every moto, you know.
And it looked like a huge turnout too. This is one of the years I'm sad I missed it. A lot of stuff was going on, and I just wasn't able to make it this year. But looking at the sheets that I saw posted, like that's a turnout.
I heard over 1,000 riders, but I don't know.
I think
1,000 entries.
I think it was like something like, what were they saying? Like 780 riders and like 1,100 some entries. So I'm just trying to remember.
That sounds right. Yeah.
That's a lot of entries.
I did 2 classes. My kid did 2 classes. My buddy did 3. You know, I mean,
that is a lot of riders.
Yeah.
And the fact that they pulled
it looked
this off.
Like the Pro National.
The fact that,
you know,
the Pro National that we didn't get this year.
Yeah, there was more people there for sure than the Pro National.
I gotta say, shout out to Huffman and Duvall for doing whatever it took to make that thing happen. I'm so glad during 2020 when almost everything's been canceled.
Yeah.
They actually made it go down.
Yeah.
So how'd you do?
I got 5th in the 30 plus. I went 7.55, and then I got I think 9th or 10th in the 25 Pro class, and then my son got 4th in the 65 Junior, and 10th in 65 Unlimited. So
not bad.
We did good.
Not bad.
You know, we got trophies.
Yeah. So 38 class pretty stacked.
There was 26 guys in there,
I'd say
I
that's
think.
fairly stacked then.
Yeah.
Did you have to race Mike Smith?
Yep.
He was here not
Yeah.
that long ago talking about he was trying to make a run at nationals. And kind of picked the wrong year.
Yeah, it was a bad year for that.
Kind of the bad year to really make any racing plans.
Yeah.
Because we really don't know what's even going to run or not run. Literally, I mean, what did they cancel the Washougal Nationals on a 1 week notice?
Yeah, I guess with the way our government leaders are talking and doing things, the AMA was like, you know, we don't want to send everyone over there and get it canceled. So that was one of the main reasons they said, you know what, no.
Well, yeah, because they go from Loretta's in Tennessee all the way to Washougal, Washington. That's a long haul.
Yeah.
They're going to hate life if they get over here and they can't run.
Yeah.
So
Or they get quarantined or something crazy.
Oh, yeah. I get it, you know.
Yeah.
There was, I'm sure, a lot of stuff that led into the decision, but I kind of get it, and this is not really the most popular spot for people to go visit right now.
Yeah.
Just, especially Portland. I don't know if you see on the news what's kind of going down in Portland. Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
I've been through Portland, and yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, I haven't been down there. I haven't been to Seattle either, but I just try to go through there at night and just get through there as fast as I can.
Yeah, and honestly, you can avoid most of the dumb stuff.
Yeah, if you stay on the freeway.
They you know where they're kind of going to be, and they center in there, and they usually just do it at night. But it has been nonstop for a couple months, every single night, just silliness. I did get a little entertainment though, watching the guy light his feet on fire.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And then the police come and save him.
The footloose they put next to it. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds horrible, but like you literally
I would have helped stomp him out.
Yeah. After I was still saving him, but he threw a Molotov cocktail onto a car, lit his own feet on fire, and he's freaking out, running away. It was the police who put it out with an extinguisher.
Yeah.
Like,
help!
I'm like, that didn't really go as planned. Like, it's a good time to maybe get help from the police.
Do you want to defend us?
Yeah. And good job to the police for still, you know, even though that guy is literally there protesting you still did the right thing and helped the guy out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, see, once in a while they come in handy.
Yeah.
Not to get into politics, but I was slightly entertaining. Yeah, let's just stay away from Portland for a while. It's, you know, a lot of it's still beautiful, still fun, but there's a lot of weirdness, and yeah, let's just not go there for a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2020 has been weird, and especially weird for you, man. I gotta say, you were the first person I have called on this podcast in jail. Or I'm sorry, you did call, because I was not able to call you.
Yeah.
So we were, really hoping the message got through from your wife, which shout out to her for setting this whole thing up.
Yeah.
And you called from jail to the podcast, which that was big. There was a lot of people that jumped on that. I know you weren't probably able to see.
Yeah.
I don't know if you went back and watched any of it or listened.
No, I haven't seen it, no.
A lot of people were jumping on, just like real quick jumping on because they kind of wanted to hear what was happening. So just to kind of get people up to speed on what I know, you've been going through some land dispute.
Yeah.
You have a motocross track, or you did, or you do? Two? Okay. On your property, and you've been going through a dispute for years, and it kind of came to a culmination. You went to a court hearing, right? Yeah. And you got put in cuffs and got put in jail.
Yep.
You're now the only person I've ever met in my life who has went to jail for riding his.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, if we can get down to the fat of it here. People who watched our previous episode kind of got the gist of it, you know, you calling in, but like maybe update, like what's going on? You're obviously out.
Yeah, so I went to jail and got sentenced. What I was sentenced for, they revoked my probation. I had 2 years of probation, and they revoked it because the judge said the county all of a sudden said I needed to file for a permit and pay the $275 fee for them to review the wetland study that they wanted me to get done, and which they took 8 years, and they had court ordered for me to get done. So we got we got the report done. We asked them how to turn it in because we didn't want to mess it up. Okay, we emailed them, how do you want this turned in? We have all these emails. They emailed back, turn it into the front desk. We'll let everybody know that the report's going to be coming, and it's outside the normal permitting process because it's court ordered, right? So the wetlands guy, the report scientist, brings it in there, says here, they say, oh, great, we've been looking forward to this. Thank you so much. Have a good day. All right. He leaves. A week later, he emails them. So we try to do everything in writing because, you know, they twinkly, they lie.
Okay.
So, emails them, says, what'd you think of my report? They say, oh, some unnamed person just threw it on the counter and they didn't pay the fee for us to review it, so we haven't reviewed it. Mind you, they were mad because it was a day late. Right? They tried putting me in jail because it was a day late. We were supposed to turn it on a Friday. Third party's turning this thing in, and he calls them at 4:30 and says, hey, you know, I got a few things to do over the weekend. Can I just turn it in on Monday? They tried giving me a probation violation for turning it in one day late. And it's not me turning it in. It's another guy I paid to, you know. Anyway. So then they wait a week and then don't read it supposedly. And then they say, oh, you need to pay a fee and you need to file for a permit. And they send me a letter in the mail all kind of simultaneously. So I get a letter in the mail. It says, hey, your permit application's ready. Everything's ready. You just need to pay the fee. I'm like, I didn't file for any permit, you know. So I take it into the county. And I say, hey, you know, I got this in the mail. You know, oh, they were so happy. They thought they got me. And they're like, yeah, you just got to fill this out so we can get your information and put it in the computer. And you need to pay the fee. I'm like, well, this says everything's done. I just need to pay the fee. They're like, well, you need to fill this out just so we have your information. I'm like, well, how have you guys been tracking this for 8 years if you don't have my information? Mm-hmm. Well, this is just how we do things now. You know, here's a pen. Tried to get me to fill out a permit application, which I would think was already done because it said it was done on this piece of paper that I got in the mail from the county. Then they say, oh, I said, well, where did all this come from? Oh, your wetlands guy did it. He filled it out. Like, oh, they filled out a permit application for me? He did? For me? And then another guy comes in from left field. Oh, I heard something about this in the hallway earlier today. What happened was, has some spiel and then tries to get me to fill this thing out. I'm like, no. I need whatever has been filled out, according to this piece of paper, I need it back to me because somebody is coming in and acting as me, you know, stealing my identity or something because I didn't fill out any of this stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, I need to get to the bottom of it. Well, we're not going to give you any of that. I was like, okay, can I get that in writing? No. Well, all right, so then I refused to pay this fee because what we did is we went back home, or before this, we Googled permits and all this stuff, right? And the first thing that came up was Washougal Motocross Park. And what the county, whatever county Washougal's in, did to Washougal in 2002 was they said, hey Washougal, hey Huffmans, your track's awesome, it's all grandfathered in, everything's great out here. You know, you guys are good. But we need to get you into compliance. You know, this critical areas ordinance came into effect, and you know, we just need to get you to comply on it. You know, we'll push it all through. You're permitting through all. It'll be gravy. So the Huffman's like, okay, $300. Here you go. As soon as they got the permit, so signed a contract with the county and paid the fee. The county came after him and said, look, you need dust suppression, noise suppression. You can only have this many events a year. You need to get a wetland study done. You know, there's critical areas here and here and here and here, and just dropped the hammer on them and tried shutting them down.
Gotcha. So you think they were trying to like trick you into signing some paperwork then 100%. Where they could get you onto some stuff 100%. And you did not sign it?
Yeah, because another time we were in court earlier and the prosecutor was talking to the county, right? And the county was saying, Suzanne Bosman, who's the leader of this, who's got the vendetta against me, she was saying, oh, what we'll do is, she's trying to whisper so we wouldn't hear because it was in the hallway. She said, what we'll do is we'll get him to do the report and then we'll go do a site inspection. And the prosecutor says, look, Suzanne, you can't go onto Mr. Brocker's property. She's like, what do you mean? He's like, he says, he's never gotten a permit. He's never signed a contract with you guys. He's never gotten a permit. So you can't go on his property. She couldn't understand because no one's ever stood up to them, right? They just say, oh, you want to come on my property? Come on out, right? And I said, no, you're not coming on my property because I know what you want to do.
Okay.
Because I did freedom of information requests previous to all this. And they said, look, We tried the bridge thing, that didn't work. We tried the charging people thing, that didn't work. We tried the noise thing, that didn't work. We tried the unfit or improper, dirty household thing, that didn't work. So now we're at our wits' end on shutting him down. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out with the critical areas ordinance, and we're going to we're going to find a way to get on site. We're going to look at the layout of the track, and then we're going to say, oh, there's a critical area here, and make his track unusable, thus shutting him down.
Okay.
So at that point, then I was like, well, I don't trust them, and I will never let them on my property without a search warrant. And they've already tried to get a search warrant, and they failed at that.
Okay.
So in my eyes, when I see the county saying things like that, I mean, they went as far as to try to draft an emergency ordinance, and they even posted it in the Bellingham Herald, trying to draft an ordinance to come after me. For me. You know, you don't just make laws for people.
No.
You know.
So then, actually, no, I'm going to loop around to that question in a moment.
Yeah.
So what led, I believe when we were talking on the phone, that you got like a stop work order?
Yeah,
that's what they eventually got you on, right?
So they did this critical areas ordinance deal, right? They tried to come out with that. They gave me a notice of violation for critical areas violation. They said that there's probable or likely critical areas on the property, and I may or may not be riding within the probable or likely critical area or the buffer of them. That's what the notice of violation said.
That's a lot of probable in there.
The next day, I got a stop work order that said, based on the notice of violations, stop the use of the motocross track within probable or likely critical areas or the buffer of them.
So riding a motorcycle violates a stop work order.
If you ride within the probable or likely critical area or the buffer of that, which may or may not be there.
I've never heard of anyone using a stop work order for motocross.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a new one.
That's what I said. I said, I'm not working. It's not work. Okay, I love doing this. Okay, I'm not getting paid.
Did they get you because it's equipment?
She said, I'm grandfathered. I have tons of emails. She said, I'm grandfathered in. I can groom the track and maintain it, which that's all I've ever done. The track goes. If you've ever been out to my previous place, the place we're talking about, I don't own it anymore. But if you'd ever been out there, over the years, it just slowly changed. You know, as motocross does change.
And hasn't the track been there since like the 70s? The
70s, possibly the late 60s.
So that's been a while.
The critical areas weren't invented and implemented until 97, possibly 2002.
Okay.
So anything that predates that, which they say is 1979, now we've read some emails that says she's trying to go back to 74, right? But critical areas, like, because people were fighting it, right? They're like, you guys are trying to take our land from us. There was a lot of litigation going on, and it never got implemented until 97. So 97 would be the date. That was the first date she gave me that I had to prove. So I put that Scott McLaughlin video, which he's an old pro. He's like 43 now or something, but he was super fast, off-road guy and everything. But he made this awesome little video that he put on YouTube, and you should follow him on Facebook or something. He like does a whole history of the Northwest motocross like all the time, like constantly. He's posting cool old articles, ISDEs, and crazy stuff. But he put this video up of that property from 1993, and Ryan Gar's on there, Scott McLaughlin, Cody Noble, like a bunch of local fast guys from the early 90s are out there on PWs. A girl's out there on a PW 50. Ryan's on his KX65. Like,
so that just gives
pretty
you
cool little
proof.
video, right?
So it's been around a while.
Yeah, and that was the first thing I gave to her because she's like, yeah, you just have to prove that it was there before 92 or 93. I'm like, oh, here's this video. She's like, oh, unfortunately, you know, that's a really great video, but it's actually 89. I'm like, oh, well, let's look at the aerials. She's like, okay. Oh, I did you a favor. I looked at the aerials, and the 86 one shows the track there. But unfortunately, the year's 79. I did a little more research. It's 79. But and we don't have 79 photos. We have 75 photos, and I don't see anything out there.
All right, let's pause for a moment.
Okay, sorry.
Let's just, we're getting into the technical stuff.
Getting deep.
This is Who did you tick off? Because from what you're telling me, now
Susie.
this is just the side I'm getting, obviously, but from what you're telling me, this is some wild stuff. Who did you tick off, and what'd you do?
So I had a membership out at this track, right? It took me over a decade to just get a membership out there, right? Because they said I was too fast, right? When I turned 18 or 19, they shut down Monroe MXGP.
Yeah.
I used to go out there like 3 days a week.
Fun track.
3 days a week with my freaking GMC Safari minivan and my aluminum 3-rail trailer that I borrowed from Ryan Garr, two 250Fs and all 04s CRF, two 04 CRF 250s and an 04 CRF 450.
Fun
Phil
track.
Poto's out there, everyone's out there. We're like 3 days a week we'd be out there, and then racing on the weekends. Awesome. And they shut that down, because some flowers across the street or something, across the river or something. I don't know what the full deal was on that.
We could have a whole podcast on that, but another time.
Might want to have him in.
We'll see.
Anyway, so I went to him. I heard he had this awesome sand track out in the county. I'd never been to it or anything, so I went to his detail shop or whatever, and I was like, "Hey man, I heard it's $300 for a year. I got $300." He said, "No, you're too fast. You'll blow out all the berms." And just was a dick to me and didn't let me out there. So whatever. So then years later, a friend of mine got a membership out there, and so I got to come ride with him, pay like $30 or $25 or something to come ride as a +1 member or whatever.
Gotcha.
Talking with Wayne, and he's a big guy that doesn't ride anymore. So we became buddies, and I'd bring him, Thanksgiving dinner and give him his washer would break. I'd go install it for him, and it was you'd pay $500 a year twice, and then if you needed a dozer, you'd donate some more money, and I'd go out there and ride every day of the week. There'd be 20, 30 guys out there on the weekend, so I knew exactly what was going on out there.
Okay.
And he'd rent a dozer 2 or 3 times a year and make some changes to the track. And there's trees everywhere on the track, so you can't really go anywhere. It's literally fence to fence track everywhere. So the county accused me of expanding it. I'm like, I don't know how to expand 20 acres. It's 20 acres. Can't really expand it. Anyway, one day he brought me and my wife into his office. He's like, "Hey, you should buy this place." And I was like, "What? Why do you want to sell this place? This is heaven on earth, but I would love to." And he's like, "Oh, I don't own it. I lost it whenever I expanded my business and the economy hit, whatever. So I've been renting it from the people I borrowed money from on it, whatever." And it was on Zillow. So I said 2 motocross tracks. It's still on there as 2 motocross tracks. Same ad that I bought it with.
Okay.
And so my real estate agent happened to be there riding that day. And he's like, "Hell
That's
yeah,
convenient.
I'd love you to buy this place. Then I could ride here all the time," because he wasn't a member yet. And a couple of weeks later, literally, we freaking did it. And I came and told him the good news. Because I told him, I was like, "I won't kick you out. My dad was going through something like this. The stress was gnarly. I'm not going to kick you out. I know you've been having trouble with your rent. I'm going to lower your rent." It was, a certain amount of money. I lowered it $200. I had a lease agreement. And I said, "Hey, I just want to have some say on the front track, just maybe a little bigger lip here or a little steeper or something, but the back track's the vet track, we can, leave that." And I just had paid my membership dues for me and my dad. I was like, "Keep that money. I know the track's a huge part of your income to stay afloat. Not only is the business out front, which is a detail shop, auto body repair, collision repair, business out front, and then the house is right next to it, so, and if you have problems with rent, just let me know ahead of time. You can paint my truck or detail my wife's car or something. We'll work it out. I'm gonna get. It's gonna be good."
So you ended up getting it,
and I got
the property.
It's in my name.
And fully expecting then the track that's been running there for years.
Yeah.
That you were on for years.
Yeah.
No problem. Transferred over to you.
Yeah.
You just keep things rolling. What point?
Same guy's living there, too.
Same
Which
guy living there.
already it had transferred ownership already years prior to that, right? Because the Martins owned it, Wayne owned it, the Martins owned it, and then I owned it.
So at what point did it go bad?
As soon as I bought it and the door didn't even close and the bank called me. And they said, "Hey, you got a problem with your tenant." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "I just talked to him." He's like, "No, you have big problems with you need to talk to him." So I go back in. I'm like, "Wayne, dude, you can still, all the members are good. I just want a list of the members so that people don't say, oh, I'm here with Danny to me or to you, and then say, oh, I'm here with Wayne to me.
Okay.
I just need a list of the people. You can still charge forever. I just don't want you to add 30 more people, and then all of a sudden it's getting out of hand. I'm going to have a few of my friends.
So is that where the problem started with him then?
As soon as I bought it, I think he thought, because he got it back from the Martins, which were like some hard.
I'm trying to keep up with the names here.
The Martins
I'm trying to
were the
keep up
people,
with
the loan sharks, right?
Okay.
The Martins are the loan sharks, right? So he finagled it back from them sort of, right? But it was still on the market, so it could be sold. But he had them listed so high it would never be sold. But then he's missing payments, so they want to sell it, and I'm the only one offering.
Okay.
So
I
buy
come
it.
in.
Yeah.
And you get it, but like day one, you start having problems with him.
Well,
and then so somebody then.
He went around all the neighbors and said, I'm going to put in a national motocross track. I'm planning on putting bleachers and stands and just made up all this stuff to the neighbors.
So then you get neighbor conflict.
Then the neighbors are like, because they were already mad at him, right? But he's lived there since he was a baby, and he's 58 years old at this point.
Because, just going off from what I hear from you, it definitely does sound like there's some kind of vendetta. I'm just trying to figure out.
Right.
Bear with me as I don't know any of the people involved here other than you, but the names and all this. But so this started as soon as you took it over. Then it turned into a neighbor conflict, and then it turned into a county that, or maybe particularly one person that decided.
Yeah, one person at the county, Suzanne Bosman at the county, and So I had Fish and Game out there, which said they came and looked at the creek and said it's perfect. I had Nooksack Salmon Enhancement come out and look at because they did a stream restoration in 2002, right? Because a 10 Mile Creek comes to my property, and they put in a gigantic 80,000-pound giant bridge over 10 Mile Creek so you can get heavy equipment back there. They mentioned the motocross track.
Okay.
And then they moved the motocross track away from the creek, and they planted a bunch of the little trees with the little cone, the little blue cones, and all those trees are huge now. They're 20 years old. And they came out and said, this looks amazing. This is like picture perfect. This is everything we could ever want. It's perfect. Western Washington University came out and did a stream test and checked the turbidity and the soil content and everything, the temperatures. They put a sensor at one end of my property and the other, entrance and exit, and left it there for like 6 months or a year or something, and said, perfect, everything's perfect. Sweet. So, and one of the tickets they gave me was for the bridge. The first ticket they gave me was for the bridge that Nooksack Salmon Enhancement put in and the county signed off on. So, because they thought if they could get rid of my bridge, they could get rid of the access to my property, to the back of the property. It was the first thing they attacked me with.
And then so that's been a variety of things ever since. So you're just assuming, because you're getting hit from all sorts of different allegations, that this is just simply turned into a personal vendetta.
Even the county said, I believe this is a witch hunt, because, there was permits filed in my name that people called in for to clear cut it. There was, like I said, Fish and Game. The Wildlife Department came out, said I was sucking water out of the creek. The EPA was called, the health department was called. Every government agency that you could call was called and came out, and the only ones that had an issue was the county, and it was because Suzanne Bosman, who's the code enforcement officer, didn't like my attitude. And it was because when she showed me those pictures from 1975, I go, well, I'm going to come in there and let's look at them together. Because I'm talking to people that have had memberships out here since 1979, 1978, 1976, and neighbors that have been coming out here since before that. So I know there was a track out here. And we went in there and look at the 1975 photo, and I go, look, there's the cow jump right there. Oh, there's how you go over the bridge and you enter the track and you exit the track. There's whoops going right up by the creek. There's a corner right there and jumps going into the woods. So, I don't see it, she said.
So you believe it became basically a witch hunt against you. So I'm gonna fast forward a little, otherwise we might get stuck in all the details
all day. Yeah.
But yeah, So you get called in court hearing, you end up in cuffs, you do some time. We talk to you.
Over the $275 permit fee. You understand that, right? They revoked my probation over a $275 fee that was not on my sentencing, was not court ordered, that they just came up with afterwards because they finally figured out that they couldn't get on my property. They had to accept the report, the second report. So they said, we have to have him get a permit or we can never go out there. And he wins, kind of.
A lot to digest in a short amount of time here.
Yeah, it's all about a permit though, is the bottom line. They could not come on my property unless I asked them to, basically. And she didn't know that. And their attorney, the prosecutor, had her back and defended against me, and then he found out he was wrong and she was wrong, and so the judge then defended him and her. Is what happened. That's my belief. They got in so deep, they just had to,
Defend each other?
Defending each other.
Okay, so you think, they're just defending each other. So you end up going to this. You were not prepared to be put in cuffs or anything. You were not really planning on that, how your day was going to go.
Okay. If you're going to jail, if you think you're going to jail, wear 3 pairs of socks, nice, cool, like and ones, like low cuts, 3 pairs. It's gonna be hot in court. You're gonna be nervous. You're gonna be sweating. But when you get into jail, it's gonna be way better because you're gonna have 3 pairs of socks, wear 3 pairs of underwear. And I don't do this, but a lot of people, they pack their suitcase, which I found out is not an actual suitcase.
Yes, I know.
You've been to jail?
No, I have not actually. No, but I have friends.
People.
I have friends. No, thankfully, knock on wood, I've been pretty lucky.
And bring some money. Bring cash. Bring cash because you can put that straight on your books. And it's not like they take like 30 or 40%. If your wife calls and puts it on, they take a bunch of it. So bring a lot of cash with you and have them put that right on your books. Then it goes directly.
So let me ask you this then. Let's just go into that a little bit. I got more stuff to. I got so many questions.
Yeah. Right.
We don't have enough time on this podcast for all the questions. But can you not get socks in jail?
Dude, this. Like I was like, I race dirt bikes. I have some money. I can afford a couple of nice dirt bikes every year and the gear and boots and shit. I'm like, I get $100 in commissary. It's gonna be great. So I order like underwear and socks, like 3 or 4 pairs, some top ramen. I don't know what to order. So I order the stuff I need. These socks that you get are useless, dude. They're completely useless. They're the cheapest, shittiest Chinese socks ever.
And you don't get an option on
I've
different
never
socks.
even seen socks like this.
Okay. And you don't get an option to get
so
other
thin.
socks. Now,
No.
do you have the option of anyone bringing you socks?
Nope.
They can't
I
bring you
wore
in
cowboy
socks.
boots, dude.
Ooh.
Clickety clack, clickety.
So did you have to wear the boots the whole time?
I can either wear we call them sliders, which is like the orange little Adidas sliders.
Okay.
Like they issue you, or I could wear my cowboy boots, which I chose to wear my cowboy boots because they're better than the sliders. So I wore my cowboy boots because I was a trustee. So then after a couple weeks, my wife, she has to buy shoes off Amazon and have Amazon send them to you. So finally I got some nice shoes, and then it was gravy train after
So you
that.
can have stuff bought on Amazon and
Only
sent to you.
certain
but there's
things.
only certain, some of the basics but they won't let you get the socks, but they'll let you get the shoes?
Just shoes, yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, you have to finagle your way with socks and shit. When I left, I gave a certain trustee my shoes and my socks and my underwear, right? So because he's he's
Someone
stoked.
actually told me, now that I think about that, someone told me actually that something he had a problem with socks, and that was a big thing.
And socks are,
that seems wild because socks are not really an expensive item. It's not something you can really hide anything in.
Yeah.
Why are socks such a big deal?
Because Summit, the place that I worked for as a trustee for free, they just get the cheapest shit you could ever imagine. The cheapest, cheap.
So before we move on to
Fruit of
what
the
you're going to be
Loom,
doing
cheapest
next,
stuff. Yeah.
how would you summarize your stay there?
I met some people. I've met some interesting characters. I met the mayor of Oak Harbor. His son was in there. That was interesting. And then they're just meatheads. I mean, when I walked in off the street, then they got me right into the trustees, and I walked into it was like break time or something. So they were all just lifting like bags of water and gallons of water in the laundry room. It's just hot as hell in there. I mean, every guy was shaved skinhead, tattoos everywhere, and their arms were like 23 inches. Like all these dudes like were going to prison. They'd been in prison. They love prison. These guys, they don't mind it. It's great. I like jail, you know? You get 3 meals a day. You don't got to worry about nothing, no stress. You know, we get rec time. We play handball. Get to watch TV. We got TV. Like, you guys
Interesting.
are crazy, dude. I'm like, I don't like it here, okay? At all. You know, I got kids. I got 3 kids at home, you know, like coach wrestling. I freaking race dirt bikes all the time, and you know, my life's pretty good out there.
And hadn't really planned on this happening, right?
No, I mean, there's a freaking pandemic. I'm like, I'm not going to jail. There's no way.
That's part of what really blew me away is not only are you the only person that I know of that has gone to jail for basically riding his dirt bike, but you went in the middle of a pandemic where they're actually in many areas letting people out whose sentences are almost up, like people who are like, you know, maybe not major offenders or people who are kind of near their term, and like, just go ahead and leave.
Yeah.
And that is the time that they chose to put you into jail. That kind of blew me away too.
When I was like, oh, I got court. I was like, that's kind of crazy, but whatever. You know, maybe depending we went into phase 2 maybe, or I don't know. We're on the verge of it. I don't know. But when I go to court, I took a picture of it. It just says, Courtroom 1, Judge David Grant, Danny Brocker. Nobody else. So I'm like, that's not a good sign, right? And then we get in there, and you know, he's just, if you watch the video, he told everybody.
Oh, so yeah, it wasn't like a group one where they take a ton of people? Like,
it was just me.
Oh, that's bad. Actually, I did have, so I had to go in for a felony one time. Because I found out, by the way, in the state of Washington, if you don't turn in your paperwork when you buy a vehicle, I bought a Moto van from a family member and I forgot to turn in my paperwork. After 30 days, it's a felony. So it was like 30.
Felony?
Yes, it's a felony. And when I got pulled over, he's like, hey, it's not in your name. Like, oh, I'm an idiot. I totally forgot to transfer. The tags are good, but I forgot to transfer it. And he actually was going to let me off because he's like, you kind of did a California stop, and I don't know, it's an all-white van. He's
Free
like,
candy on the
but
side.
he's like, this is a, you know, that's a felony, and I'm supposed to arrest you
felony.
and put you in.
You take over a police station, no big deal.
Yeah,
Forget
but I'm
that.
just like, wait, you're supposed to arrest me? He's like, yeah, and we only do court once a week in town. Like, what day? He was like, it was yesterday. Dude, and he's like, tell you what, transfer it right now. He was cool. He was really cool. But you got to go in. He's like, otherwise, like, you know, if I wanted to, I would arrest you. This would get impounded, and you have 6 days in jail to wait until you go in. And so I went in and I ended up talking it all down. It's not even on my record and stuff because they're like, yeah, okay. But like, I couldn't believe that was a felony. But I had to
That's insane.
I had to go to the court with all the people who did the weird, crazy stuff.
How many of us are felons for not transferring our dirt bike titles?
I wonder if it's the same for dirt bikes.
I know I got a loan in 04 for one of those CRF 250s.
It's probably different because they're not street legal.
No, because I got a loan for one of them, and I was like, hey, I don't want to have insurance on this thing because it's just a stupid dirt bike. And they're like, oh, you don't have to have insurance on it. I was like, sweet, I'll do the loan because I wanted to get credit.
Yeah.
Do the loan. A couple months later, I get a letter in the mail. It says, oh, you need insurance. I was like, oh, well, that guy said I didn't need it. It's probably just like an automated thing. And then all of a sudden, I get my statement in the mail, and they added $1,000 for insurance on it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I got insurance. I got insurance. So I go in there, and I'm like, hey, you know, I was told no insurance on this thing. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, that's bullcrap. We'll take care of that. Go in his office. He's like, oh, I talked to my manager. Yeah, you have to have insurance on it. I go, oh, so I have insurance? He's like, yeah. I was like, dude, that sounds crazy, but I was fucking riding it in MXGP the other day, and dude, the motor locked up. The rod went through the bottom of the fucking crankcases, and I just went over the bars, bent the subframe, both exhausts. I mean, this bike's tatered. The forks are bent. I need to make a claim on that. And he's like, oh, well, you can't do that. I'm like, well, I just got this insurance. He's like, it's only if it's lost or stolen. I was like, well, it was in the back of my truck after that at the hotel, and it got stolen. He's like, oh, you can't do that either. I'm like, you just said I could. He goes, well, it's basically if you don't pay off the loan. I'm like, so you got insurance?
Yeah, that's what it is. He's got insurance.
So why am I paying?
Oh, don't even get me started.
Why am
on
I paying
insurance.
13%?
Don't get me started on insurance.
I just paid it off right
I
there.
could do a whole podcast, my theories on insurance.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. But basically, that's my only experience with going to court over anything serious. And my felony was I was 5 days past the whatever mark they had, and it was a group thing. There was like 20 different people, and you had to just sit there all day and wait your turn. If you get put into a room by yourself, that is kind of a bad sign.
I went to court before this, right, when it was the group thing, and a few guys before me, same judge and everything, he was in for a probation violation. But this was for the one whenever I was a day late from the report that the third party had to turn in. They're trying to give me a violation of probation for that one, and the guy, the prosecutor said, oh, he's got 5 violations of probation. He dirty UA, skipped a UA, ran out on a UA, got arrested or something. 5 things. And they're like, how do you plead for these? He said, guilty. On all 5 counts, guilty. Okay. He goes, and the same judge, he says, are you back on track? He said, yeah, I went to the rehab program and I'm back on track. He says, okay, no penalties then. So I thought, with my my violations of probation, it was
You probably
confident.
You were assuming you were going to be fine.
Wasn't going to be that bad, because I just didn't pay a $275 fee that wasn't court ordered.
Wild. Okay. Fast forward a little then. Wild. So you get out. What have you been doing since? And let's get to the part that I have zero idea what's going on. Do you have a game plan? Are you winging it?
I sold the property.
You end up selling it.
I sold it before that court hearing, right? But I sold it during COVID. And I sold it to Northwest Riders for God, which is a club.
Okay.
Sold it to them. We did all the paperwork. They filed it all away, and so when we went back to court, I was like, look, I know you said I should pay that fee, but I sold the property. I can't get a permit on a property I don't own. Then
okay.
Here's the sheriff's report of the sale, because they thought the sale might be fraudulent. And the sheriff came by and interviewed me. I was like, yeah, I had to sell it. I'm getting threatened with jail time. I mean, I got $100,000 in attorney's fees over the last 8 years. I'm getting harassed left and right. I just can't afford to own it anymore. So I had to sell it. And he's like, oh, okay, that seems like a good enough reason to sell it to me. Writes up the report. We got a copy of the report. We turned that into the judge as evidence. Like, look, it was a legitimate sale. It was investigated and sold. Right. Mm-hmm. Well, just in case, the day before, we both went in mutually to the Treasury Department and made sure that everything was filed and stamped and everything. Well, the prosecutor says, oh, he just sold it yesterday, and it looks like a fraudulent sale, which the district court can't even make a decision on any of that anyway. But he basically made a decision that it was a fraudulent sale, and I didn't pay the permit, and so he revoked my probation.
All right. Man, I got to almost go back and listen to all this, digest everything. So, you're out now.
I'm out now.
It is sold.
I did my 56 days.
Did your 56
in
days.
jail, which, because the judge said in custody right now, and arrested me when court was over. And put me in jail.
I got slightly confused, and I apologize for anyone who saw my social media post, because I saw someone who reported that you were doing 500 some days.
I was sentenced to 134 days per count, which was 4 gross misdemeanors, which is the critical areas violations, and for the stop work order, because the probable or likely critical areas that may or may not be there, riding in or within the probable buffer of them or whatever. So the total was 536 days, and 56 in custody. During the pandemic, I had to go into jail and be in custody, and then the remaining 480, I can do jail alternatives, which can be like I go to jail at night and I work during the day, or
There's
ankle
a few,
monitoring,
okay.
whatever I qualify for, I can do the 480 days. And I am pretty sure I qualified for the electronic home monitoring, and I go on that this week.
Okay. And once that is done and the property has been sold,
It's been sold.
do you think the drama is going to continue, or is it going to die down?
I don't know.
You don't know. You're hoping for the
There's
best.
going to be some drama with what I'm, with my lawyers and what's going to happen against them.
So you'd like to push for,
yeah,
maybe
if there's any lawyers that want to do a pro bono lawsuit against the county, let me know.
Okay. So
I mean, I've been damaged. I've had 540. I'll have had 548 days of unlawful imprisonment. And I've had to sell my 2 motocross tracks within a block of a school in sandy, loamy dirt with a 6-bay shop and a 2,500 square foot house. So I think I need that replaced.
So you'd like to maybe put some effort into that.
Yeah, that's my next goal, and that's why we had the GoFundMe and stuff, because we want to get. It doesn't need to be pro bono, but we have some money in the GoFundMe, which is still active. If anybody wants to donate to that, donate to that, and that's unbelievable that people have donated to that. That's, I wanted to move away, and then just the support that I've gotten, and the friends that, that are supporting me, it makes me want to stay here and fight, because before I was like, you know what, I've been dealing with it for 8 years, nobody's really helping me, I'm just dealing with it myself, and the system's so corrupt that it's like I'm just gonna move to Idaho or some other state, but
I'm trying to get a group to go to Texas. I'm going
yeah,
Joe Rogan
right?
style,
I mean,
man.
I'm into that too.
And they got armadillos.
I'm into that too, but the weather's good here.
I don't know about that.
I like
one.
it. I mean, I have a sand track, so
Dude,
I love the
I was
rain,
born
it
in the
rained.
wrong state.
Right,
I've been here
same
my
track.
whole life. I can't stand the rain.
Yeah, I
get
to me, the
depressed.
track's waters.
Dude, I cannot do the rain. I am the worst mud rider that is born and raised in the Pacific Northwest.
I ride really well in critical areas.
And I run a winter series. And if you notice, I only race half of them. Like,
Yeah.
I'll look outside, like, yeah, we'll leave the 450 in there. I'm not a good mud rider. I don't like the rain. I'm over the rain. I went to Texas.
My lap times are faster in the mud.
See, I don't get it. I went to Texas, man, actually for Supercross.
Yeah.
Right before we had this whole shutdown. And I went there, and like, you guys got good barbecue. Like,
See,
it's
I
no
was
joke.
looking at
It is
houses-
good barbecue.
I was looking at houses. What's the national track there? I was looking at houses
Freestone?
right around there. Yeah, I was looking at houses because that's like more eastern Texas, right?
I don't know Texas very well
It's
at
a little
all.
greener
I believe so.
on the Google Maps, and then I was like, oh, Freestone's right there. All right.
I know a few people have gone down and they just don't come back. Matt Bashilia, used to be from like the Portland area, and they trucked it down there, built a track, and they were like, we got a huge house and property and everything for the same price what we sold our
I
little
was looking at like
place over here.
50-acre property,
Yeah.
50-acre parcel with literal mansion, swimming pool, jacuzzi, huge shop, $650,000.
And I have
I was
never
like,
seen an
I live in
episode.
a
I've never seen an
shack
episode.
compared to that. That's
Yeah,
worth it.
around here, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen an episode, but the whole Tiger King thing. All right, so
That's me with the motocross track.
they estimate there's actually more tigers in Texas than China, or where they're like from and everything.
Yeah.
There's because all these rich people bring them over and keep.
Nice.
There's literally more tigers than Texas.
You can have a big cat in Idaho with no permits or anything.
No permits?
Nothing.
I don't want a cat, man. That thing
I'm
would
just
kill me
saying,
in my sleep.
you can.
I want an armadillo.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna
Those
kill me in
are-
my sleep.
Those things are hard to catch.
That's fine. It won't kill me in my sleep like a cat would.
Yeah.
I don't trust cats. I love cats, but like I won't. They're smart and they got claws.
Yeah.
I don't know cats. Armadillo,
Yeah.
I'm down. Big one of those big old turtles. All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm down.
Snapping turtle.
Yeah.
See, I'm from southeast Colorado, so we used to go, for hunting everything.
I actually caught a snapping turtle fishing one time
Yeah.
down in Minnesota.
We used to catch them with our hands.
Yeah, no, I'm out, man.
Yeah.
This thing we put
They-
we put like a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch stick in front of it, and it just
Oh, yeah.
chomp, 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 chomp. It would just like chomp down it and like, I'm not getting my fingers near it. They're dinosaurs.
Yeah.
There's the cute little box turtles,
In
and
Colorado.
then there's snappers.
In Colorado, they have irrigation ditches and stuff. Well, in the winter, they shut them off. Right, so then we'd all go down there, and there's just puddles full of catfish and huge gigantic carp and snapping turtles and everything that we'd go down there and
There's a few creatures on this earth, man, I'm convinced are still dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And snapping
Oh,
turtles
yeah.
are one of them.
Yeah.
That's dinosaur material, man. They're mean.
Yeah.
They're hard to kill. Not that I've never killed one, but like they're everything about them is just tough.
They taste good.
I've heard that.
Snapping turtles too. Yeah.
I threw mine back, and it was probably a solid 40, 45 pounds. I mean, I caught it night fishing for catfish. I was.
Yeah. Their necks are like actually this long too.
Oh, yeah, I
Keep
found
your
that out
hands away.
quickly. Yeah, because it just did this quick little. Like, where did that come from?
Snapping turtle.
Yeah.
Snap. It's just-
I'm like, I want nothing to do with this, but I got to get the hook out of your mouth. So we're trying to. It took 3 of us
I
in the
would've just
dark.
cut the line.
I think we had to eventually. Oh no, actually, I think it actually tossed it. It eventually got it
spit
out.
it.
And then we're like, okay, the water's that way, and it just starts following us. Like, no, water's that way, dude. They're mean, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm not down for the snappers.
No.
No, or the big cats. I don't know how we got into the animals.
Yeah,
but
anyway.
Texas.
Tiger King.
Texas.
Yeah.
I like Texas.
No, I mean, I'm definitely willing. In 480 days, we'll see where I'm at. But I'm definitely going to be traveling around a little bit. I think if this just doesn't get either way, I want to travel around a little bit.
Well, I don't see nothing wrong with that. And man, I don't know. I start to wonder. We do have some beautiful tracks here, but other states are looking a lot more tempting right now with everything going on in the Northwest, with the ridiculous riots, with all the prices going sky high. It's like we're trying to mimic California without the weather.
Yep. Well, they're all moving up here.
Well, that's part of the problem.
Whatcom County we're supposed to double in the next couple of years our amount of people. We have like 80.
I think that
we
is
have like
part of the problem.
90,000 people, and that we're supposed to get in there 75,000 people in our county, which we'll be able to buy a little bit nicer chunk of property in another state when we sell in a few years.
You want to get blown away? Look at Georgia. I don't know what there is to do in Georgia.
Well,
Look at the prices in Georgia.
Club MX. I was looking at houses in Club MX. You can buy a house for 40 grand, like within 2 miles of Club MX in South Carolina.
See, that's tempting.
Right? I was just gonna buy one for Airbnb. Just have a moto van sitting there with a couple like old bikes in it.
I'm actually going wild. I'm looking to buy a place in Mexico as like a
Mexico?
extra, like a Airbnb when I'm not there.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna do for Club MX though. Show up, Uber in. You got the freaking moto van.
I like your
some
idea
bikes.
though. I like that. And
Club
actually,
MX.
you don't have to like cross,
Borders.
Borders, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Mexico's fun though. I don't know if you've been.
I've been when I was a kid.
Mexico's pretty
We
fun.
got some big prawns, tiger prawns. I've never seen some so big in my life. They're like
they
lobster
got
tails.
some weird creatures in the water down. I went spearfishing.
Yeah.
There's some weird stuff
I've been
down there.
spearfishing in Hawaii when I got married.
Spearfishing is on my top 5 favorite things to do.
I have two six spear guns and all this stuff. You let me know.
Dude, it's a good.
Find a place around here that's not freezing
I
cold.
like to fish. I like to hunt. It's all in one. And anyone who's
You know what I don't like to do? Hold my breath.
amen, amen.
Yeah, we need to get some scuba gear.
The problem actually with Mexico, especially where I went, is they have a lot of rocks, and so you have to be careful you don't get blown into them because that's also where a lot of fish are at the edges.
Yeah.
But the problem is they got some serious waves going on, and the Mexico beaches, most of them aren't like our Pacific Northwest beaches. They're kind of shallow and go out. They have sharp drop-offs, and they have lots of rocks. Even the nice, pretty beaches quickly turn ugly as soon as they get into the water. So there's a lot of stuff there that you can get thrown into and get some damage. So always got to keep an eye on that. But it's fun to go down there and like, I don't know what you are. I don't know what you are. There's some weird, funny looking fish. And like, okay, go back and get the phone out and Google what is that fish.
Me and my buddies, we just shoot them, and then the locals would be up there barbecuing and having a little family time. And we'd bring them out there, and they'd tell us what it was, and then cook it for us.
I felt so bad. Whatever local messed with me, he's a jerk because I got this one fish that I don't know, it looked cool, and I shot it, and I forget exactly what it was called.
Give you diarrhea?
No. I ate it. He was like, "Oh, that's one of the best tasting ones here." I'm like, "Sweet," because it looked kind of like a rockfish. I'm like, I know rockfish is good, but it was a funky looking rockfish. He's like, "No, it's a great one." So I cooked it, but there was like no meat. It was all bone, and it was like, it was weird. And I'm trying to figure out what it was on Google, and no, that was an aquarium fish. That was this particular aquarium fish that goes for like $150 a pop because they don't have air bladders, so they sink. So they kind of just sit on a rock and then go to another rock. And so they're a really expensive, popular aquarium fish. No one actually eats them. No one eats them. Like I could not find one reference.
Fish though.
There was nothing there, and I felt bad. I ate somebody's aquarium fish, dude.
Someone let it go? Or
No, they are native
They're
down
native,
there.
okay.
Yeah, but no one eats them.
Yeah.
And they're like, I couldn't find one reference of anyone eating. Like, well, apparently I did.
Yeah.
I felt bad. It's like, it's not even a cool fish. It's an aquarium fish.
Yeah, we had all kinds of ideas on things we were going to eat, and then we ended up just with a pile of rotting fish that we had to go throw.
I went for a moray eel. So I heard
yeah.
you can eat them. I missed, and he got really mad. That was a
Yeah.
mistake, because the thing was as long as his table.
Damn.
And have you ever had something like that come at you and like slither at you? Oh, dude, I went out of that water so fast. I didn't know I could swim that fast. Because, yeah, I realized like, nope, no eels for me.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. We get on the weirdest
Yeah,
subjects
anyway.
on this podcast sometimes, but I think it's just about time and we're going to get out of here. We still got a little bit of an after show to do, but it was good to get you on in person because I was curious.
And you
like,
still owe me a commissary, dude.
I owe you for the phone calls, and I want to say thank you once again for calling us from jail
Yeah, like with
on
three
the
times or
podcast.
something? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and
So-
Lincoln got 13th at Loretta Lynn's in the 65 junior class without me there. So or you got 13th one moto, you got 20th and a 13th, which I thought was freaking amazing. Have a full gate of
Dude,
kids,
that's
and he's
solid.
only 8. So watch out for Lincoln. I think he's gonna be
That is solid.
pretty quick.
Is there anything we missed or anything you want to throw out before we kind of shut this whole thing down?
Just my GoFundMe, and I'd appreciate all the support. We still are selling those T-shirts, trying to raise money for lawyers' fees. We're still looking for a lawyer. If anyone knows any badass lawyers who would love to go after the county or the state of Washington, whoever the heck we gotta sue personally, and their bonding agencies. For a rather large lawsuit. I think I've been damaged pretty big with just if you look at my results over the years too. 2017 I was winning everything, the Northwest Off-Road Championship Series. I won every moto at Top Gun. And then it's steadily kind of gone down from there. Without the use of my track. My own private property that supposedly is mine that I pay all the taxes on, them taking that from me and forcing me to sell it and then putting me in jail. I think I got some major damages that need dealt with.
All right. And people can find you on social media, right?
Yeah, I'm on social media.
Facebook, Instagram?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram,
Just look up Danny Brocker. They can find
yeah,
you.
I'm pretty easy to find.
Okay. Right
I'm
on.
not hiding. I know I'm right. So, if I didn't feel I was right, I'd be hiding. But I know 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt that track has been there, and it's been a motocross track, and people have been using it. And I've had 2 wetland studies done that say there's no critical areas there. We've had all the tests done. We've had everybody and their mother come out and look at the water and look at the soil samples, and we've contacted the EPA and the Army Corps of Engineers and done freedom of information requests with them, and they said there's no critical areas on your property. There's no waters of the United States. Even 10 Mile Creek is not a navigable water of the United States. So everything the county's doing is 100% unlawful.
All right. So if you guys want to talk to him more about it, check him out. Social media. Look up Danny Brocker. You can find him. If you're watching this, by now, I'm sure you know who I am, Justin Wharton on everything but grinder. And if you want to get one of these fresh tees, by the way, shout out to my homie from the Weekend Warriors, former Pacific Northwest boy, sometimes comes still rides. I think he's down in Florida playing in the sand now. Got a cool YouTube channel. Check him out, Weekend Warriors. Mr. Van Zant, he's got some seriously fun videos. You guys need to go check out the urban riding videos. He's like riding on the side of buildings, doing wheelies down railroad tracks. It's a good time.
We do M9 too.
And yeah, I'll give the plug. M9 suspension here. M9 suspension, solid dude on in the snow and dirt too. By the way, he's a good rider. Darren's a savage.
Savage dude. If he didn't fall down every moto, he'd win every moto. But yeah, a little bit about this guy. I've tried every suspension you can imagine, and I always tell him I'm like a local pro. I feel like I'm pretty fast, but I feel like my suspension's holding me back. I feel like it's too soft. And I get crap with suspension. I think it's just me. Finally, I meet this guy through a friend of a friend. He does me a set. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. And then he comes out to Top Gun last year, comes out to Top Gun, and revalves my suspension all day long, all weekend long. And I've never had suspension like this. Like, I'm still a year later, me still tuning it and stuff. But I mean, it's so much more balanced, and my fork settings are my valving is so much stiffer than I've ever had. Like, my confidence is still catching up with the things that I can do on my motorcycle with this suspension, and it's thanks to him. Like, I can't say enough about it. Like, and he started doing suspension because he had the same problems as me. Coming off the snow bikes, he had all factory everything, and then he was doing more moto stuff, and he'd call every suspension company and say, hey, look. He'd tell him he's 20 pounds heavier. He'd tell him he's Ricky Carmichael. He'd tell him trying to get stiffer stuff, and he couldn't get it, so he started doing it himself. And I mean, the guys, I mean, he can just watch you ride and be like, oh yeah, oh, it's doing this, click, click, click. And I don't even know what he does, but I can't say enough about it. Like, suspension's everything.
Yeah, awesome dude. I've known him for a few years. So if you guys want to check out M9 Suspension, you can find him on Instagram, Facebook, all that same kind of stuff. Easy to find.
Easy
M9
to find.
Suspension. So we're going to get out of here. Thank you, folks, for watching Moto Monday number 122 with Danny Brocker in the house.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. And we'll be back in just a few minutes.